Beep, beep. What is up, ninjas? My name is Samuel, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to get the vibe of gangsta house. Not to be confused with G house, but gangsta house, West Coast house, firme house. So if you know, if I was here and had a flannel, I would button this all the way up. Firm essay, if you know what I'm saying. So guys, in this kind of house, drum selection is very important. The style of drums you use, that's how you're going to achieve the vibe. It's not necessarily about the way you process, but just the style of drums, the style of kicks, and the style of bass you're going to be using in this genre. So today we're going to demystify a lot of the things that people seem to have trouble with in order to create firme house, West Coast house, gangsta house, or just it might be called like dirty tech house or something. So if you guys are ready to G it up with So if you guys are ready for some gangsta loving, you're ready to G it up with me, let's get straight into it, guys. And as always, if you want to support my channel, make sure to head over to evilsounds.com. The Deceiver sound set, which is a tech house sound set, sample pack construction kits, finally came out. A bunch of you guys have supported it already, so thank you guys so much for believing in the pack and purchasing it, supporting my channel. It means a lot. And if you haven't gotten it, boy, what you talking about? What you talking about? You know you're missing out, so make sure pick it up. You know you're missing out, go pick that copy up. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to pick the right drums, because if we don't start with the right drums, it's not firme enough, I say. So we need to go with the right drums. My biggest advice, guys, is going to be for going for kick 808 drums for this style. Essentially, you can find this inside of Ableton. If you go into drums, look up the 808, go to kick, and then from there we have that, we have the tone, and then we do have the click, long, and whatnot here. So the idea with this is that we're going to utilize the kick 808 tone as our kick. We need something mellow. It's all about the drum selection, like I said. So I'm not going to be getting a thumpy kick like pooah or like a thra kind of kick. You know, it has to be very simple. And this is a perfect kick. Now, the problem with this kick, as you're going to see, is that it's fairly long. It goes above the bar. It hits the back wall, and, you know, that can cause all kinds of issues. So we have to kind of tone it down a bit, even tone. Okay, so that's too much. Holy shit. That seems about right. So we're just going to set up the 4 on the 4. This is a simple part. I think the hardest thing here and the most mistakes I see when they're trying to achieve this style is that you tend to go for more of a kick that's style of kick. You know, we need more of a smooth, like, boom kick. That's it. We don't need to go crazy with it, okay? So we're just going to create here a little loop for ourselves, a little 4. Control L will set you up with that shortcut, and now we got... All right, BPM is totally wrong. Let's go to 124. That's where the magic happens. Baby making music there. Okay, anchoring the kick there at -6. I always tell my students and people like you to do it. That way you can revolve the mix around that. It's a lot easier to go with that. From there, we need to get our clap. So for this, I'm going to use the new Deceiver sound set. I got to plug myself in. I got to hustle, you know what I'm saying? So don't hate me for it, okay? You'll be doing the same thing. All right, so I'm going to be doing a clap. And I want a very tight clap. The good thing is that if you have a long clap, you can turn it into a tight clap. We don't like loose stuff around here. So I'm going to go for something like this clap here. Clap 13 is great as well. But the reason I like clap 15 is because I remember when I made it, I added a bit of a down sample to it. And that's why it sounds like that. Now, a lot of these hats, if just a fun fact, are made by utilizing serum noise and just manipulating it in a way where you have your LFO hit like this 3 times in order to get that effect. And then from there, you can switch it, and then you choose your white noise, different white noises, apply a filter, distortion, reverb, a hint of it, and that's how you create a clap. Maybe I'll make a tutorial in the future if someone comments it and it gets enough likes, up to 69. Okay, so we're going to do this here. We're just going to have this clap, and then we'll see if it even fits. So let's see how that sounds like. Let's level it around -6, anchoring the kick, anchoring the clap. So as you can see, it's a bit too long for my taste. Definitely for this stuff, it's not going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this, and I'm going to use the fades in Ableton to make it sound like that. Now we're talking, okay? Again, this has to be tight. Us G's don't fuck around with that loose stuff. We want the tightest stuff we can get. So we're going to get some tight-ass claps up in here. Once that is done, we're pretty much done there. I'm going to EQ that just so it sounds a little bit cleaner. You know, bring in the maid with that EQ. So here we go. I want a mellow vibe, so the highs and the down sample effect are not to my liking for this, so I am going to ease down on them a little bit with the EQ, okay? It's as simple as that. Okay, cool. From there, let's add an open hat. Now, again, we don't want to go for those like, you know, your wife is screaming at you open hats. You want to go for those chill open hats, you know, like so nothing too open. That's the idea behind it. So if I go into my open hats, I think that one's good because it's not so bright. It's a little bit more mellow, but also this one's great. So I'm gonna go with, okay, and we're gonna go with that, and let's see how it sounds. So again, it's too open. Wife screaming, sort of. She kind of mad, so let's quiet her down a bit with a little bit of chicken. And yeah, look, we're just gonna tighten that up a bit. There we go. Now we're talking. Again, you know, all of this leads to a good sound, and that's what people need to understand. I know as I'm explaining this, some of you guys are going, this is too simple. Why the fuck are you making a tutorial on it? And all I gotta say is, trust me, people need to see this, certain people. And again, you know, even me, myself, I made the mistakes when I was trying to create this kind of house with that vibe. And best way to do it, again, drum selection, sound selection is everything. Once you have that, you're good. All right, so now we have. Now imagine all of this was like, it's good for a certain style of tech house, but not for the G house, all right? With gangsters, remember that. All right, so we have that, and now it's time for another part where everyone tends to fuck up. And again, YouTube, don't get mad, okay? I'm just speaking my mind. I'm going to go with a sampler, so we're going to sample a tom for our bass. This is another thing where people mess up. You can definitely go with presets that sound like toms because I did add them in the pack. However, I want to show you guys this because I know a lot of you guys don't have money or aren't going to support it. So you just got to make sure to have, if you have like the Cashmere sample pack, you can use the toms from there to make a bass pattern that like similar to here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a tom, and I'm looking for one in specific, you know, like... That's more of an 808 kind of vibe, which is what we want. So we're going to go with that. Now, this is what I like about Ableton Suite. You get the sampler, so you can just set this root key to where it needs to be. And let's make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, you can. What we're going to do is we're going to set it there, and then we're just going to find a good spot for it. So let's hit it and quit it. So this might be a bit too much, so we'll see if it is. So let's get just a simple pattern here. This is in G sharp. Let's get this in G, as I believe that kick is going to be in the key of G. When in doubt, put the spectrum on it and expose it. Seems to be in G. Yup, it's in G like I suspected. So we're going to have this in G. And let's just get it. Too much. You can see it's too grainy for what we want. So let's just get the pattern down first. So let's find a better bass tom. That one's not working for us for what we need it for. There we go. Now let's just go up an octave. That's sounding more like it. We're going to use an EQ to get rid of the top end on it, so don't worry. All right, so let's get that nice little pattern going there. All right, that's sounding good, but we need to EQ out those highs, and then we need to add a sidechain because that kick is big. There we go. That seems more like it. But you can hear the bass and the kick are fighting. Once we fix that, we're going to be able to kind of get that groove going, okay? So let's add a compressor now. With the compressor, we want to go with this EQ setting here. The reason for it is because, again, this kick is long, 6 inches of power. So it's going to, of course, sidechain the shit out of that. So we just want to get the click of that to get sidechained. So let's sidechain to the kick. I'm such a noob, dude. And now we're starting to get something that resembles what we need. But now let's find a good catchy bass pattern to do. There we go. Now we got it, baby. So now what we're going to do here is pretty simple. I am going to add a bit of swing to that. 16 swing will be fine. Don't worry about velocity that much on how much the swing applies it. Just because essentially we don't have velocity changes in this. So we're going to commit that. Look at that swing in action, G. we are pretty much almost done. Now we need to add the swag. So what makes this our song? So I am gonna add vocals. That's the first thing.
Dance.
We'll go with the extra phases.
Oh my gosh, being really good. Crazy idea. Crazy. It like feels good.
So we can maybe use that one. So we're gonna put that there.
It like feels good.
Now we just gotta get it in time. So let's put this bad boy there.
It like
Let's consolidate it. Control J. And now we just need a warp.
it like feels 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 good. It like feels good.
Complex Pro it.
It like feels good. It like feels good.
Maybe let's move this back. It like feels good.
It like feels good.
Now from here, let's get that vibe that a lot of the vocals tend to have, which sound like they're speaking to you through a radio. In order to achieve that, you just gotta literally just get the right.
It like feels good. It like feels good. It like feels good.
We're just gonna do something like so. Let's try this.
It like feels good.
This is what's gonna give you those like really nasty vibes. Sometimes I get this question asked a lot: how do you create those radio vocals or shit like that? It's all in the EQing of that vocal.
It like feels good. It like feels good. It like feels good. It like
From there, choose your poison of choice in what you want the synths to do. In instance, you can use synth loops and you can like manipulate them in a way to make them yours. That's one thing we can do. So for instance, we are in G, so we can maybe go with something like that and see if we can maybe get stuff out of it. So maybe I could go in and you know, and manipulate it. So there's a lot of things that Ableton allows us to do. The first one is the trance. I could essentially go and say, oh, okay, you know, that's cool, man, but you know what, I want to do that, but I just want maybe like sort of like, and maybe cut out certain parts of it, so I could be like, yo, let's do that. And then from there, you could say, okay, I'm going to consolidate that. That way we can now access these texture or tones. Now, this is very unique stuff, and I kind of wanted to show it in the video because in essence what it is, it's sort of granular. What that means is that I can transpose this or pitch bend it in a way, and then I can apply that granular modulation or synthesis, which in essence, I'll show you what it does. Okay, so in essence, let's say we're doing this. We're like pitching this up. What we're doing with texture or tone is in texture we have a little bit more choice in how we want to approach this. First off, we have our grain size. So this is going to grab little portions of this sample, and the grain size determines how big they are. So if I do 200, it might be like all of this, and then all of this will be another grain. If I do it like this at 46, this might be a grain, this might be a grain, this might be a grain, this might... Now the flux is going to modulate that, so it's going to alter the timing of it. So if I do this, check it out. You get really kind of cool. Really cool kind of vibe. So this is going to create this sort of vibe to it. Now, this is the power of it. A lot of people use that and they're like, it's not doing anything sad. I'm like, bitch, you ain't automating the pitch. You got to automate the pitch to get that stuff. So we can definitely, and you get really crazy sounds. And then from there, let's say you like that, you can consolidate it. You like one of the shots. I could grab that and then maybe turn that into a little shot that I use every offbeat and whatnot. But from the West Coast, there we go, man. That sounded catchy right there. Maybe I don't even need that. So that's a way to get these really unique sounds out of Ableton. Let's say I like that already. I can consolidate that, and now I can go with maybe some just normal complex pro and pitch that down, like, you know, or pitch it up. All right, so let's say that's the key. Let's duplicate that. Now the other way obviously is to use the presets that come in the pack or any preset that you might have laying around. You know, whoops, we need to control shift and click. Another thing is just utilizing effects or little synths. So in the pack, you're going to see a lot of this. And again, I have to hustle and promote the pack. I know some people don't like it, but that's just my thing. I can now find little shots here. Maybe like so. You know, it's kind of like the idea. After that, it's just developing, producing out like synth shots. Maybe a melody is one thing that you want to do, so we can get like maybe like a little bit of an acidy style sound, which would be bop 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 bop. See, so there I would probably go like a bop bop bop. So I would either go the route I did before to develop a sound using synth loops or just one shots, or I can again go with presets. Again, everyone has a different form of producing, so it's just up to you to find out what you find works best. I mean, you can even grab these presets and just bounce them down, or freeze them and bounce down and go that route. So my camera died, but we can still keep going, guys. Don't forget, you can add swing as well to your synth loops if you feel it's needed. This is where velocity changes might occur if you have samples going. But the idea is to develop something that, again, will be groovy, and it doesn't have to be super complex. It can be something as simple as just a melody, a shot. The vocal can just keep saying stupid shit if that's what you're into. That's the idea of it. So in instance, I could just go... That sounds so like goofy and groovy. Last thing maybe we can add is like, you know, if you want to make stuff wide, just know how to do that. You can utilize like the Haas effect, which is to certain sounds. Pan, auto pan, pitch down, pitch up, play around with. So if in your head you have the idea of this pitching down, and don't be afraid to go for it. And just do really cool stuff. I understand, you know, maybe the idea here I'm presenting is but the thing is getting these things across to you so that you can make something cool. At the end of the day, you want to make stuff that you can dance to. It doesn't have to be complex. If it's simple and catchy and groovy and people can dance to it, that is the important thing. With that being said, guys, if you want to support my channel, Deceiver is out. It's going to contain construction kits. It's going to contain synth loops. It's going to contain kicks. Everything needed. 6 construction kits, 142 serum presets. Make sure to check it out, support the channel, and I'll catch you guys next time. But with that being said, we got a little groove, and this is how we would approach in creating these kind of West Coast feed in my house style of tracks.